reason why a lot of times you'll come in, you may have symptoms and stuff, and I'll say, let's just leave it alone, because sometimes the body's dealing with it, and you don't wanna force it, all right? So if the body's dealing with the problem, a lot of times we'll back off and let the body go. The body's gonna be trying to get things back in line on its own also. It's very intelligent, and it knows where alignment is, okay? We already covered why we adjust the same spot. One crazy word I wanna go over with y'all real quick. I had a patient, let me grab another pen, this one's dying on me. Subluxation. Anytime you hear that word in here in a chiropractic office, what chiropractors are talking about when you hear that is when your spine's out of alignment, it's affecting the nervous system. It's that simple, okay? If you come in, I lay you down and I check you out and I give you an adjustment, it's because I thought you had a subluxation in that area. All right, if you don't, then we won't. So anytime you hear that funny word or see that funny word, all you gotta think of is just your spine's getting a little bit out of line, it's beginning to affect that nervous system, all right? My job is to get rid of that, okay? So if you hear that word, don't let it flip you out. It's pretty simple. Now, the next big question I often get is, why do we charge what we do in here? We charge $25 a visit in here. Why do we charge that? That's about what chiropractors used to charge in about the 50s or 60s. All right, most chiropractors in this area, from what I understand, the average office visit in this area is right around 60 to 70. I just had a patient come in earlier today that this chiropractor was charging $100, $110 a visit. Okay. All right, why do I charge $25 a visit? Here's why. Because I do think cost of healthcare is out of control, and like I said, we're all part of the problem. All right, so I have no right to complain about the problem if I don't do something to fix the problem. It's that simple, okay? So we set our fees up at 25 here. Now in Tyler, for 3 years I practiced with no fees whatsoever. All right, for 3 years I got so fed up with fees, because that's the most stressful part of my practice. I don't know about you, Dr. Roby, finances are the most stressful part. There's nothing more frustrating to me than to see a patient I think I can help, but they don't have the finances or the ability to pay for it. And I usually work around it. But what I finally did several years ago is I just said, you know what, I'm done. Every time a patient came in, what I told them then was, you need 3 times a week for this long, 2 times a week, whatever, you need to come in once a month for the rest of your life. And I told them exactly what they needed. And usually the very next question is, okay, doc, how much is this gonna cost me? And all I would say is, you pay whatever you wanna pay. I don't care, you go up front, you tell them what you wanna pay, and that's what your fees are. All right, and they say, so I can pay $5 a visit? I said, you can pay $5, pay whatever. The average fee in this area is $35, but you pay whatever you want. Now, the first year I did this, I collected more money that year than I did ever in practice before. Okay, without question, it's my biggest year ever. All right, now the reason I quit doing it was this. Remember I said how important your mind is? Who do you think paid $35 a visit every time they came in? My poorest patients. I had one lady that made her own clothes because she just didn't have money to go out and buy clothes. And every time she came in, she laid $35 on the counter every single time. She never came in without having $35 cash in her hand. Who do you think paid $5 a visit? Some of my wealthiest patients, okay? Now, I set the rules up, so that's not a problem. If you want to make the rules that way, they did nothing wrong, all right? Let me make that clear. But that began to mess with my head, and it began to mess with my staff's head. We began to resent some of these wealthier patients, all right? That's not a healthy place to be either. And after about 3 years of it, we got to a point where it's like, we got to stop it, because we were becoming very resentful towards seeing that happen, and we put a stop to it. Okay, so in the last case that finally did it was a lady that came in and said she needed an adjustment. She had just flown to Utah and skied Utah, then flew to Colorado, skied Colorado, flew to New Mexico, skied New Mexico, then flew back to Tyler in her private plane and got an adjustment and walked up and paid $5. And that's when my staff came to me and said, Dr. Broom, we got to do something. You can't allow that to happen. I said, wait, we set the rules up. That's the way it is. So we changed it. So when I opened up this practice, I said, we're not going to do that. We're going to set our fees as low as we think we can possibly do it. My goal is to help as many people as possible. It's that simple. I want to fill this practice full of patients because I think everybody should have a chiropractor. All right? Should everybody get adjusted or get checked every month? I think so. But that's not my point here, all right? If you want to come in just whenever you feel like you need it, if you want to come in every month for checkups, that's fine. But I wish everybody at least had a chiropractor. Even if they just went to them once every 2 or 3 years, I'd be good with that. But I wish people looked at chiropractic like they do dentistry. All right? Everybody has a dentist, all right? I wish everybody had a chiropractor. And I wish everybody would do these 4 simple things. Now let me ask you a question. How hard are these 4 things? How hard is it to do? How hard is it to change your way you think? And again, it's hard, but it's not. You get my point? Right? It's one of the most difficult things to do, but doesn't cost anything, and you just gotta train yourself to do it.
Well, you have to give yourself the time to do it. I mean, like the mental time to do it, because most of us have, our lives are so busy and so filled with things, and then we get home and we'll turn the TV on, and then it's like we don't give ourselves that time, for our mind to process and,
Actually exercise your mind.
right, and
That's
to
right.
let the day digest.
But
you know?
you just quoted a very easy solution, though, right? You kind of solved your own problem by turning off the TV, right?
It's I don't watch TV. I don't own a TV.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But you're right.
For a lot of
Yeah.
America, yeah, that is.
I have been at that point where I go home and watch TV, and my body reflects that. I mean,
It does. TV's full of stuff that'll pull you down. Now, I watch TV because I do like to stay current on a lot of the stuff that's going on, but you gotta be careful because, man, it will suck you in, and it will bring you down quick, all right? Now, I'll tell you two simple things that I do that can really help you on that one. One, the little yellow sticky pads. Get you one of those little yellow sticky pads and draw you a smiley face on a bunch of them. Just, whatever kind of smiley face, you stick a tongue out, whatever you want to do, I don't care. And stick it on your bathroom mirror, stick it on the dashboard of your car, stick it in your office, wherever you're at, stick them everywhere. And every time you see that little yellow sticky, it's going to remind you to smile, okay? Smiling does something to you. It releases chemicals in your body. One of my favorite times in life is when my daughter gets mad. Whenever she gets mad, all I have to do is start looking at her. And she'll try her hardest not to look at me, because as soon as she looks at me, she starts smiling. And when she's mad, she doesn't want to smile because she wants to be mad. And as soon as she starts smiling, all of a sudden she can't be mad anymore. Now, if we ever done that, we've all done that, haven't we? Where you're mad, and by gosh, you want to be mad, and don't make me laugh, because if you make me laugh, I'm not going to be mad anymore. It's that simple. If you just smile, it'll solve a lot of your problems for you. Okay?
And if you've been to, you've said you've gone through a lot of the Anthony Robbins material, and so I'm sure you know about the intentional making that happen, by just getting up and when you are mad or angry or whatever, and you really don't want to be, you can change it instantly by doing something silly.
Do something
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
All right?
Singing.
Singing, or just smile. Just
Well,
force
I grew
yourself to
up
smile.
with a mother. You just be happy. And I swear, it's in our genes.
And you're happy, aren't you?
I always have been.
It really is that simple, guys. Now, another little trick that you can do, and again, this gets into a little more metaphysics and stuff, but it definitely works, is every single morning when you get up and you're taking a shower, fixing your hair, brushing your teeth, and you can't do anything else, just run through your mind everything you're thankful for. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be life-changing, world peace stuff, okay? It can be, I'm thankful for the shower I'm standing in taking a shower, because look at Haiti.
It's just
There's a lot of people don't have a shower to take it.
the focus thing, though.
It's
Yeah.
the focus.
Yeah.
And something about running through all those little simple things, I'm thankful for my dog, I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for my shoes. Just run, all of a sudden, I tell you, the rest of your day will change. Okay, it'll change your mind. It's kind of like hitting reset first thing in the morning, and you're resetting your brain to, we got it pretty darn good in this country. I keep hearing about how bad the economy is and how bad things are in this country. I'm going, gosh, we really don't know how bad things can really get. Again, just go to Haiti. I wish every one of us could take a trip to Haiti or some of these places just to see it.
Just cross the border to Mexico.
Just cross, well, you don't want to do that right now.
Well,
It's a little dangerous down there right now.
Yeah.
But I get your point. You're right. Just
Yeah.
cross the border. And there's probably some places we can go in this country and find that, but it's hard. All right, it's not
But-
like some other countries.
I mean, there is the cost of that, though. I mean, life is easy here, but then at the same time, like, one of the things that we have to, that we pay for that is like all the garage door opener and the TV remote, and and all these things that are in the long term making life a little too easy, maybe. But it's just, at least we're given the freedom of choice, to be responsible with it or not, and lots of people don't have it.
And that's the
that
key.
choice.
What you just said is the key. It's your choice.
Yeah.
It's your choice. When you wake up in the morning, are you going to give thanks for your garage door opener,
Right.
for your remote control, your power lawnmower, and all that stuff? Are you going to give thanks for that? Because, man, we got a ton of stuff to be thankful for. We really, really do. I mean, can you imagine if we all had to give up our dish? All right. We all had to give up our garage door openers. Can you imagine if we had to go back to actually opening garage doors ourselves? Life would be tough, wouldn't it? All right, so just keep that in mind, guys. Just give it some thanks there. One of my goals in life, getting back to fees here, and every time I say this to all my classes because I'm trying to put it out there in the universe because I'm going to do it someday. Every time I say it, my wife kicks me. My goal in life eventually is to put a box up there on that counter and just tell patients drop whatever you want in it. That is without question. I know a chiropractor that's doing that up in Colorado, and he's just doing awesome. no financial worries in the world. And one of these days, we're gonna do that, all right? So right now, we've got our fee set here. The reason we do that is not because we're trying to devalue what we do, not because we're trying to be Walmart, just because I think that that's what most people can afford. That's what most people's insurance co-pays are. Most people can afford to do that. Not everybody can, and people that can't, we still lower our fees for them, even lower. But our goal is, number one, is to get insurance out from between us. I don't like this doctor-insurance-patient relationship stuff that we have today. It needs to be doctor-patient, and insurance is extra. If insurance covers it, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. We'll work it out, all right? So that's the reason we have our fees set that low. Now, everybody got a brochure here, and if you notice in your brochure, there's a little card. On the back of that card, there's a little sticky that says initial exam, x-rays, and first adjustment at no cost. The only people that get those cards are people who come to my class. About 50% of my new patients actually come to the class, and that absolutely amazes me, because I told every one of you guys that if you come to the class, you're gonna get better results, it's gonna cut your treatment time in half, it's gonna save you time and money. Now, you would think those simple things would make everybody come to the class, but they don't. All right, so my reward to you for doing that is I give you these cards. If you have a friend or a family member, I'm gonna ask you to help me out, because if this stuff makes sense to you, and if it's easy, and it really is easy, and if you like what we've talked about tonight, tell somebody, please, because I don't have the finances to compete with the pharmaceutical industry on advertising, okay? My advertising primarily comes from my patients, people going out and talking to people. And give them, if you need more, if you need